Hi there guys, hope you're well. Welcome back to the channel. This is an update of a few things that I wanted to just talk about with regard to the Mandela effect. I've actually written notes down, so hopefully I won't waffle too long in the video. So first of all, I've just got to say thank you very much to everyone out there that has subscribed to the channel. It has grown more so than I anticipated in the beginning. Should be on course to reaching 1,500 subscribers probably within the next week, I would say, which I initially was just thinking that maybe hopefully between 1 and 100 people would watch any of the videos or listen to anything that I had to say on there. So yeah, thank you very much for anyone that subscribed, anyone that comments. Even negative comments, from my understanding, it still pushes the video up higher in a ranking chart so that it's viewed more. So yeah, thank you for any comments whatsoever on there, or likes, thumbs down, all that sort of stuff there. With regard to the growth of the channel, I'm not sure. So this is something that I'm not 100% sure about, but I think there may be some fake accounts on there as well. Again, I'm not 100% sure about this, but I do have a sneaky suspicion that so there's something called shills, which are like paid government agents that sort of purposefully badmouth videos and I guess cyberbully, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, so I'm keeping my eyes peeled on that. If anyone else notices anything suspect, yeah, feel free to let me know on that one. I'm going to clarify my exact beliefs on the Mandela effect, because I feel, so I did a video just before, about a week ago, where I was talking about Google. So I discovered a newspaper article that said Eli Whitney was black, whereas our history shows us now that he's white. Clear as day, the article says that. And for me, this was quite a profound find. Out of all of the finds that I've found so far, or that anyone has found, I think that one was probably the most profound one, because it's literally changing a person's colour. So where I was saying, is Google changing things? I do think that there is a possibility of that, and this may not even be a Mandela effect. It could be a changing of history, as in one race taking credit over another race's discovery. Could be, might not be. That's the only reason why I said that in the last video, is Google changing things. Just because if you Google search the both, is he black, is he white, he is a white man. If you look on Discovery or History Channel, it will show the documentary of him being a white man. So there is a possibility that Google has something to do with this whole Mandela effect. I don't believe that's all it is. If there is any possibility of that, as I say, for anyone that this is your first time of watching this video, I've put in well over 200 plus hours of research, and not just me finding things out myself. Sorry for the sirens there in the background. We call that the lullaby at night time. But yeah, put in a lot of time on this, and my conclusion as to what I believe this effect to be. So I've had a few comments from people where they say, yeah, but how, with the evidence that I'm finding, if it's showing both things, how would it do that if there has been a consciousness shift or a shift into a parallel dimension or something like that? I personally don't believe that's what's happened. For me personally, so the reason why I'm saying personally, just purely my views on this, because I've seen quite a lot of different people having very different views on this. So everyone ultimately knows that something's going on. I think even naysayers should look at this and think, well, there's something going on because there's so many people talking about it. What is it? I personally think it's more of a merger of potential parallel universes, rather than some people have gone from one to the other, purely for the fact that there's mixed views on people's memories, where they're usually between two different options that people are remembering. Every now and again there'll be 3 different options, but typically there's 2 different options. And also with the residual evidence as well, there tends to typically be 2 different options on there rather than 10 different options, or just one option and everyone just saying, oh yeah, but it's just my memory, it's just my memory. That doesn't seem to be the case. So that's why I believe it's a merger. The thing is that I still don't know, and I don't think anyone knows indefinitely, is the how. How, or potentially even why, I guess, if there is a how. The reason why Google may be involved in this, because they own a D-Wave computer, if the D-Wave computer is possible of making this happen. I recently put up a slit theory on my channel. Hasn't had that many views yet. I'm not sure if people know exactly what it is, but if you're hearing this video, just go on my channel, check it out. It should be quite a recent video to this. An amazing, amazing test that has been done that I won't ruin it for you. Just watch it. It's only a very short video. It's animated. It's quite easy to understand, but it's somewhat talking about quantum physics, I guess. So for anyone that's brand new to this, maybe that video will help you a bit there. But yeah, I think that there's now so many examples out there, literally hundreds. And someone also said to me, well, why do I keep putting up examples rather than trying to find out exactly what it is that's caused it? And I did initially think that beforehand. There was a time I was going to stop putting up examples and findings. However, my thoughts changed, because then I thought, what if I have that one example that then gets someone else on board, and they're like, oh crap, that's so personal to me because it has affected me, that then they have the answer, and they're like, oh, actually my brother works at CERN, let me ask him, or something like that. You never know. As I say, the more people that get involved with this, the more eyes on this. Again, going back to the big YouTubers, the ones with like the 4 million subscribers and whatnot, the Shane Dawsons and what's the girl's name, Tana Monju, I want to say, something like that. So people like that, at first when they were talking about it, I thought, okay, maybe this could have a bad impact on the subject. But then again, my thoughts changed, and I thought, no, actually, I think this can have a good impact on the subject, purely for the fact that it's, again, going to have more eyeballs on it, more people talking about it. Someone else might have that one example that I don't have, that someone else that's making these videos doesn't have. So I've talked. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, which has potentially, I wouldn't necessarily thrown a spanner in the works, but it's definitely food for thought. So there's a hit program called Mr. Robot. I've watched season 1 of it. I'm about halfway through season 2. I don't really watch that many TV shows, so I heard about this one and watched it. I mean, I probably watched 2 or 3 different programs, and then that's it. I don't really watch TV much. They quote in it, I can't remember the full verbatim sentence, but they basically say Operation Berenstein, and he specifically says Steen, which is how Americans, from my understanding, used to say it rather than stain. It's quite a different way to say it. You could definitely hear the difference between the two. So he says about, yeah, I think that's Operation Berenstein. And this is, so if that was just a one-off occasion, also in the new Suicide Squad film, again, so I don't watch tons of films in the cinema, but I went to watch this one, again, more for a nostalgic thing, that I used to be a massive kind of superhero fan, or I guess they're kind of anti-superheroes in a sense. But there is a scene where, just from nowhere, they say something like, we're not here to rescue Nelson Mandela. Again, I've put videos up on these, so there'll be the exact quotes of what they've said. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here what they said. When you've got these big films and whatnot talking about it, it's pretty weird. So let me just have a sip of my tea, very English of me. An Englishman does love his tea. So another thing that I was thinking of is rebranding the name Perpetual Motion. So I personally really like the name Perpetual Motion. I liked it so much that when I thought of it, I just thought, okay, I want that to be the name of the channel. However, the downside of having that particular name, if anyone types that in on YouTube, I don't come up in the search results, because you've got perpetual motion machines that will come up first because they've had millions of views and they've been around for years. So I literally don't even come up in the search results. So I've had people saying, oh, I can never find your videos, etc., etc. So I'm thinking of changing the name on there. I've got a few ideas in mind of what I'm going to change it to, but I just thought I would put this out here so that if someone that's maybe subscribed to me all of a sudden sees a different logo and a different name, just to let you know that it's not a Mandela effect. I'm purely changing it just so it's going to be searchable. So again, I need to research into that as to what I want the name to be changed to. Again, with regard to YouTube channels and things like that, so this is my first ever proper channel that I've set up. I've set up previous ones in the past, just kind of personal mess about ones. But this one where I'm actually putting constant content up there and a proper little logo and stuff like that. This is the first time I've done that. And I feel that from, I don't know, 3 months ago or whenever it was when I started this account to now, there's hopefully an improvement of sorts on there. And I've learned a few bits on the way with regard to how to make your videos more searchable. As I said about the name issue, all these little bits. So if anyone out there wants me to do a video on tips if you're new to YouTube, setting up an account, write a comment below, and it's something I'm thinking of doing anyway, but I don't want to just put it out there if no one's interested in watching it anyway, because that'd be pretty pointless. But let me know. So with regard to, this will be the last thing I've got on my list to talk about here. I don't want these videos to go on forever. So tools for searching for the Mandela effect. And also, so with regard to the changes that have happened, in many of the cases, I believe they are somewhat of a code. So I believe they're somewhat signs. When, again, this is a question that someone else said, well, what's the point when they're only changing one letter here or an apostrophe there or a slight change to a logo? I personally believe that they are signs. I've got a video, probably the most viewed of my videos, is where I'm talking about what I think links the Mandela affected things. I still believe that. I don't know whether that's someone leaving breadcrumbs for us, whether only certain people see it that way, whether I'm completely making it up, but yet it somewhat makes sense. I don't know, but I personally believe that there are signs in a lot of the changes that have happened. With regard to the people's names, so I've noticed certain similarities with people that have had their names changed, and also certain companies that have had their names changed. I'm starting to see certain patterns, but I don't want to talk about that too much because I want to be sure before I say what those changes are. So for example, again, do your own research on it, but when you look at the owner of Lazy Boy, so that's one of the changes, for example, I want to know the director. So Steven Spielberg seems to have directed a lot of these big films that have changed. Steven Seagal, Barbara Streisand, that's another one I've heard people say. Charles Schultz, or Scholes as it's now called. So I think I'm starting to see links with the people that have changed. I won't talk too much on that again until I'm certain. But again, feel free, any of the examples I've said, any more examples, check for yourself, see if you find any links. Maybe you're seeing the same things I'm seeing, I don't know. But with regard to links and what have you, a little tip that I have for it. So for example, many people are saying the Canon logo has changed, and I think it has, but I'm not confident enough to say indefinitely, yes, the Canon logo, or the way the font, of Canon, how it's written now has changed. And there's other people that say that it's Canon with 2 N's. So things to look for. Simple Google search, click on define Canon, like C-A-N-O-N, for example. That's always a good place to start. What's the definition of Canon? What's drawing that to change? That's an interesting one to check for yourself, see what that says. Why has C-3PO got a silver leg? Is it just a silver leg, or is it just a certain part of his leg, i.e. a calf? The calf of his leg is now silver, i.e. okay, are there any other definitions of a calf? Okay, a calf is in a bull, for example, and then you've got a biblical story of the golden bull that was worshipped, the false idolatry. You've got the Luke, I am your father line. Okay, so Darth Vader is from the dark side. There's a lot of religious tones within Star Wars, if you check that out. I mean, how is God often referred to as our Father? So the Lord's Prayer itself that had changed as well. Our Father who art in heaven. So again, Father, Luke, I am your father. Why are we being drawn to certain things? So the lazy boy one, I like that example because for me that's such an obvious one. Again, I've said this in a previous video that it doesn't phonetically sound right now, that it's lazy boy. So what else? Excuse me if I keep coughing and grunting and whatnot. I've been pretty ill at the moment. Yeah, so when I was saying, okay, well, I want to know a bit more about this lazy boy. Who's the owner of it? Like, who created lazy boy? So we've got to look a little bit deeper with regard to these things, I believe. But again, definitions for words is a good way to start. Because there's a couple of other people out there now that I'm not necessarily saying it since I put my video up of linking things. Maybe people had this idea beforehand. But when I put it up, I wasn't influenced from seeing another video of anyone saying that. I just saw it as that. I just saw it as like clues, because it's just weird that you'd have one word change here, one letter change there. Tools for searching the Mandela effect, or for trying to find residual evidence. So there's a couple of tools that I've found along the way since doing this. So whether it's people like a subscriber commenting saying, oh, have you seen this, or have you used this, or whatnot. The ones that I can recommend, Google newspapers. I've said this in about 6,000 videos now. For me, that tool is incredible. The amount of findings I found in 2 days there. If you look at the last video, I had like real squinty eyes and whatnot from doing so much research. Logopedia. This is one that I didn't even know existed, but I heard this in someone's video and I was like, that is exactly what I had in my mind. I was thinking, is there not some sort of search engine just for logos? I.e. when the Volkswagen logos change, the Volvo logos change. So you might not always find something on here. I'll stop waving that pen around there. So Logopedia, as in Wikipedia, but just type logo, L-O-G-O at the beginning. Great tool. And there's also one called Wayback Machine, which seems to store millions of websites that have ever existed as well. So check out any of those tools. Maybe you'll find something that I don't find. Bearing in mind, I'm just one person, so when I'm doing these articles, for example, from Google newspapers, it's not as easy as you type something in and, oh, there it is. You have to actually find it. So you have to read the articles. You have to make sure it's in the right context. Otherwise, you could be finding the word and it's completely out of context. So, yeah, it's quite a lot to just do. So this is why I make videos telling people exactly what I'm doing, because, as I say, I'm not gaining anything from this as far as financially, or before anyone says, no, I didn't invent the Mandela effect. I've had that comment a few times and silly things like that. So yeah, that's all from me, guys. That's the list complete here of everything I wanted to talk about. Hopefully I'm a bit clearer on my exact beliefs of the Mandela effect, or of what I believe it to be. Again, the source is still unknown as far as I'm concerned. The main suspicion, so you've got people from a religious element saying it's a religious rapture type event where only certain people can see it and they'll maybe be taken off. Something to that effect. You've got other people saying it's CERN without a doubt. You've got other people saying it is the D-Wave computer. You've got other theories where people are saying this has been going on for many, many years even before that, which I think could be the case. I think this has gone on much longer than when Fiona Broome discovered it. That's my personal beliefs. I don't know which of those, if any of those, has caused it. I know it's happening. I think Google may be having a hand in manipulating their search engine functions. Well, I say a hand in it. They own, basically Google are everything now. They are No one uses Bing or Yahoo or any other search engine now, really, if you look at the grand scheme of things. So they have monopolised the internet. Like, let's be honest. Google own D-Wave computers. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have something to do with it. But then that wouldn't account for physical changes, i.e. VHS tapes, i.e. DVDs, songs that have changed, lyrics in songs, alternate scenes from films, as I say. But you need to use the tools: Logopedia, Wayback Machine, Google Newspapers. I'll cut the video there. That's gone over 20 minutes. I feel like I'll talk forever if I don't keep an eye on that time there. But yeah, hopefully this has clarified it. Hopefully maybe someone's even learned something new from this, or has a new bit of information, or maybe someone has new information for me, whether it's a new find, a new way of doing something. But that is all from me, guys. So thanks a lot for your time. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friends, tell your mum, tell everyone about the videos. Yeah, and until then, just have a good one, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Cheers. Bye.